Hey everybody, welcome back to WILLSON Builds. If you're new here, I'm Zach. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're returning from a previous video on my channel, you guys are awesome. I appreciate all the support. As always, guys, it motivates me to keep making videos for you guys. That being said, if you could tell by the title of the video today, we're going to be deviating from working on the 29 Roadster, and we're going to be working on my 55 Chev pickup. All right, so this is the 55 Chevy. This was my COVID build. It is filthy right now. It is so dusty and so dirty. Luckily, my friend Nathaniel is coming over and we will be detailing it within the next 2 weeks. So I'm gonna get it somewhat operational by then. This was all done in this garage. Paint, body, everything. It was my first time learning it, so you can kind of see, you know, there's still dents in the back and there's still paint blemishes around stuff where I rushed, and there's nibs and stuff. This is not a perfect truck by any means, but it was all done in this garage and I'm very happy that I did it, and everything that is wrong can be fixed in the future. All right, so we have a pretty long list of little jobs that we have to complete on the truck. I've categorized them into interior, motor, and body exterior. That being said, we are going to start on the motor today, and that's probably all we're going to do in this video. We have a couple big jobs. We have our pump pressure reducing kit by Borgeson for our steering pump, as I'm running a Mustang 2 front end with a Chevy steering pump. It is a little different, and apparently these reducers work really well. We have to put in our LEEDS vacuum kit for our brakes. As the cam I have is pretty radical in this car, I get little to no vacuum, so the brakes aren't working as they should. And then we're taking out our heater core. All right, let's get at the engine now. All right, so this is the motor me and my friend Marty built. So this is a 350 flat top pistons, 292 cam, I believe. Edelbrock air gap intake manifold, 202 double bump heads, Edelbrock ABS2 650 carburetor, Edelbrock high flow aluminum water pump, CVF Racing alternator power steering with cert belt setup, Summit aluminum radiator, flex light fan, the list goes on. Willwood brakes, so on and so forth. So I drove this for about, I don't know, 2 months last summer after it was finished before I took it off the road, so there's a lot of little bugs to work out. So I'm going to make a quick separate list of what we need to do. So we need to remove heater core. And then we have to remove stripped bolt from ALOT. Okay. Check steering linkage. Install Borg reducer. Install LEEDS vacuum pump. So first things first, we're going to go straight to our heater core and pull the lines. Probably full of water, so I'm just going to get a bucket down there and just slowly drain them, and then we'll take off the end hoses here and go get plugs. And then take our heater core out, which is just the 5 bolts you see on the firewall. And that's where our LEEDS pump will be going, so I'm not too concerned. And then we will start working on maybe the alternator or looking at our steering stuff. The real reason as to why I'm taking out the heater core is I don't really drive when it's cold out. I thought, why do we need a heater core? I'm never going to drive it where I need to defrost the windows. I'm never going to drive it to where we're going to need the heater potentially. So let's just take it out. And I'm going to use the 12 volt power on current to run our vacuum pump. All right, we got our plugs now. I'm just gonna put some sealant glue on it, and then we will plug our coolant mess. Loctite 565 is what I usually use. And a dab will do ya. Forgot one thing on our list. We have to change our thermostat. All right, this is gonna make a bit of a mess, I think, but we drained most of it. So I guess just is what it is. This is the consequence you make when you don't want to drain the whole system. You win some, you lose some, I guess. And today we lost some. So I took out a 160 and I'm replacing it with a 180. The only reason I went to the 160 was because we had a little bit of an overheating problem, but I've ruled it down to timing as of this point. So yes, the 160 did help. Do I want to keep it in there? No. It just kept it cooler quicker, but it would still kind of get into that danger zone of overheating. That being said, we are putting back a 180. Goodbye, 160. That goes in the garbage. Yeah. We're halfway here, so now we just have to take the box out of the car. All right, guys, so first things first, we gotta start taking off the climate control pull tabs. So basically it's a wire attached to these guys. I don't know if you can see that one working there. And it pulls a vent open to come into the cab. So we gotta remove a bunch of those first. All right, let's unbolt the nuts in the engine bay. And with luck, this will slide out. Okay, now that that's all out, we're gonna have to figure out kind of what we want to do with these carpets, because we've cut that. We might, I mean, the carpets aren't super expensive, so we can buy a new one, or we can just fix this one. I might just put adhesive on the back, as it's kind of plastic on the back, so you can put adhesive. You might just see that slit, but if you're sitting in the seat with your feet up here, I don't think you're gonna see that all too much. Another job off the list. So for right now, I might just leave, I might leave this front plate on here. It's something just to get your eye away from the massive hole. I mean, technically we could just have this in there, and that looks fine, I guess. Okay, let's now get our hot wire that we're running off our thermostat controls and turn that into a hot wire for our vacuum. All right, so step one on installing this, they say, find a mounting location. Now, this is supposed to be the quietest vacuum booster on the market. It's shiny, yes, but it's plastic. It is made in China. So, oh no, it doesn't look too technical inside, so hopefully it works pretty good. It's an easy hookup with an easy cable hookup, so I can just run it where I want to, and we'll use one of the old holes that our heater hose for our heater core went through, and it will hide it pretty good actually. So I think it's gonna go kind of right there, you know, canter it off a little bit to the side so it's off. They say to, you know, mount it to a frame or mount it to somewhere like very hardened because it can reverberate through the metal, but I think that's a pretty sturdy spot with all our contours and our metal there. So we have to remove this base and then find out where we want to mount it. So I am going to make a quick reference point. All right, now we can worry about where our vacuum line is going to go. I might run it underneath that seam there. I might just run it along the back of the firewall there too. We also have to worry about the old vacuum port, which is right there on the intake. I already took out the barbed connection and went and got a plug, so we're going to put that on now. And now we can worry about our vacuum line. So I've put it in the vacuum port now. Okay, so this is the hot wire that came from our initial fan. So we can reuse this because this is a key on hot, and reuse it for our booster here. So I'm going to take the hot out of here, and this was our ground, so we have everything right in front of us, so it should be a very simple installation. So for the sake of simplicity and the fact that we can already break this line down the end of it, there's already a easy connect. I'm going to hard line these, and I'm just going to do it for the sake of it right now because I'm not going to solder these right now. I'm just going to twirl them together, and you know, if it works, we'll come back and we'll just untape it and solder it. So I'm going to give me a bunch of extra line here to do so. Okay, that is basically all that's required for this. I'm going to finish up with the other little jobs we have to do. That is a check mark on the install the LEEDS vacuum pump. So now we have to check the steering linkage, remove strip bolt from alternator, and install the Borg reducer. All right, so we stripped the bottom adjustment bolt on the alternator. And of course it's on the bottom, and it's an Allen key, and it's very close in here. So that being said, we're gonna have to figure out the best way to pull everything out and get at that bolt. I was thinking of just pulling the whole bracket off, and I think that would work. So yeah, let's just do that. So we got to take out this top bolt, and there's 2 Allen keys, and then we can kind of just pop it off, and then I'll just put a regular nut and bolt on it. All right, and it's working good. So let's go put this back in the car, and then we can essentially put our battery in and try starting it up. I almost forgot, we have to do our steering pump adjustment. So we have to take the steering pump out. So the instructions go, remove the flow valve from the pump. The flow valve is located where the pressure hose connects to the pump. Okay, that's easy enough. Let's get that off. Okay. We have a cover for the flow valve. Bunch of shims. Okay, what's next? Slide the cover provided over and clamp the valve in a vise. The cover is supplied so the valve is not damaged. Any scratches on the flow valve can cause valve to stick, okay? Remove 7/16 bolt from the valve. All right, so it says in the pressure chart, the following chart is a reference only. Different pumps may vary pressures. Mustang rack and pinions generally require approximately 1,000 PSI. So we are using a Mustang 2 front end, so I'm assuming that's what they mean. So we gotta look over here, and 3 shims. So we're gonna reinstall it. And 3 shims. Now we can put this back together. All right, guys, so my camera died, but we're all done in the engine bay now. We got the pressure kit put in the steering pump. We have the alternator bracket all fixed now from the strip bolt. We have our vacuum brake booster in as well. And the heater core is all out. So we can call the engine bay done. Hopefully, fingers crossed, nothing will go wrong in startup. But I'm gonna run to the back now, and we're gonna hook back up our battery because there is none, and we got a new one. So I opted out for the Optima battery. I did so on the recommendation of a shop in town called Gas Classics, and I've heard good things about them online. I've also heard really poor things about them online, but that seems to be the case with just about everything these days. So I'm gonna take a chance on it. It came, or didn't come, but I bought this cool cover for it as well. It's just like a CNC aluminum. So I'm just taking that off now because there's mounting holes on the bottom. Okay, let's see what we got. So key on. No vacuum pump, but if we press the brake, there it goes. So it just keyed on when I pressed the brake because it knows it has low vacuum in the booster. And it should turn off when it's full. So it's been about 10 seconds right now. So yeah, about 15 seconds, which is about right. And we got our fuel pump. We got our electric fan. We have our stereo. We have our Dakota digital dash, which is great. I love these dashes. They are so intuitive. And look at that, 385 miles we've driven on this car since the build was done. So we have lots of little stuff left to do. We have to come back in here and work all the wiring, solder it all, and basically do a major cleanup in here and start it up. So I'll do all those little jobs after we start it up, but it's getting pretty late now. That was a full day of work that we just did, or kind of the half day of what I had. So I'm gonna start it up tomorrow. So you guys will have to wait, or I'm gonna have to wait. You guys are gonna have to wait like 10 seconds. But yeah, we'll start up tomorrow. All right guys, so it's the next day. We're gonna try to start this thing up now. I'm just gonna connect the battery, get some fuel to the carb, and I'm gonna back it out a little bit because we have side exit pipes and I don't want my garage filling up with the fumes. So we're gonna push it back a little bit, put the battery in, and yeah, essentially start cranking it over. All right, so our battery is connected and we can try and start it up. Hopefully it starts up. So I'm just gonna let it idle for a bit because it hasn't ran in a few months. So that being said, I don't want to get any weird ticking. So I want to get the oil all the way to the motor. So I'm holding it at about 1,000 to 1,100 RPM just to kind of get everything rolling. Let's see if I remember how to drive this thing and see if the brakes work. It seems to want to stop better. All right, we're up to temp. Let's do a bit of a pull in a minute. Oh, she pulls. Forgot how fun this was to drive. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, those brakes are so much better. I am very happy with these brakes. That brake booster did a ton. Very happy. Leeds, thank you for making a brake booster. There's too many people out right now to try the brakes. That was a great test run, you guys. I'm super happy with the brakes. The LEEDS Vacuum Booster is 10 out of 10. That made my brakes feel so much better. I didn't catch it on film, but I figured, why don't we just kind of slam the brakes a little bit, and I almost got put through the front window. So that was a way better feeling. The reason I really did the brake booster, I didn't notice it too much, but right before we took it off the road, I did a burnout and I was lurching forward and I couldn't get the truck to stop. So I basically just pulled out in my driveway and put my foot on the brake and put my foot on the gas, and it lit the tires up like no one's business. And I was very happy that I spent the money to get that LEEDS vacuum booster. I'm sure a lot of other vacuum boosters work equally as good, but the LEEDS one worked for what I needed, and I'm very, very happy we got it. Other than that, the truck ran great. We didn't have any overheating issues. Did a 70-30 coolant mix with the new thermostat, but I mean, I haven't driven it downtown in the summer yet, where it's, you know, stop and go traffic, so we'll see where that goes. I think we need a little bit of timing. It's running pretty lean, but I do have a calibration kit from Edelbrock that we're gonna put in as well. So there is a lot of little jobs left to do, and I'm gonna try to film each and every one of them. But I'm gonna call this video here. Thank you so much for tuning into WILLSON Builds. Your guys' support is greatly appreciated. I love making videos for you guys. So if you see something you like, dislike, something I can improve on, if you just wanna roast me in the comments, you guys know the drill, please do. But in the meantime, please like, comment, and subscribe. That really helps me grow the channel. And hopefully we'll get a lot more videos done of the 55 so I can share them with you. But until then, we'll see you next time on WILLSON Builds.